All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the world of leather production management.
Yeah, it might not sound like the most exciting thing at first glance.
I know, right? But trust me, it's way more interesting than you might think. We actually have two really cool sources for this deep dive.
Okay.
We've got the RoleCatcher Career Guide, which gives us the inside scoop on what a leather production manager actually does.
Oh, cool.
And then we've also got some info on RoleCatcher's AI-powered job platform, which is doing some really interesting things in the hiring process.
Interesting. So we're talking about the actual work and then how tech is changing how people get hired in this field.
Exactly. So let's start with the career guide. The first thing that struck me is that this isn't your typical factory floor manager job.
How so?
Well, it sounds like you need a really strong grasp of the technical aspects of leather production,
Right, you're overseeing the entire process.
but you also need some serious people
Yeah,
skills.
managing teams, coordinating with different departments. It's a lot more than just keeping the machines running.
It really seems like they're the glue that holds everything together.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that leather production managers are involved in pretty much every aspect of the business, from production to sales, marketing, even dealing with regulatory bodies.
Wow, so they're like conductors, making sure everyone's in sync to create the final product.
That's a great analogy.
And speaking of keeping things in sync, I was surprised to see how much technology is involved in modern leather production.
Oh yeah, it's not all about traditional tools anymore.
The guide mentioned CAD/CAM software, automation, robotics. It sounds super high-tech.
It is. CAD/CAM, for example, allows for incredibly precise designs and cuts,
Okay, that makes sense.
and automation and robotics are taking over a lot of the repetitive tasks.
So it's like a blend of traditional craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting, is this intersection of old and new.
It's amazing to think that even if you have a tech background, you could find a really fulfilling career path in leather production.
That's what
It's amazing how technology is really changing the game in leather production.
it is. And you know, it's interesting.
What's that?
This whole idea of technology shaping the industry kind of brings us to our other source,
Mm.
the RoleCatcher job platform.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about how AI is being used in the actual production process,
Right.
but they're also using it to help people get hired for these jobs, which I think is super cool.
It's pretty wild, yeah. So imagine this. You're interested in becoming a leather production manager.
Okay.
You go on RoleCatcher, and the platform uses AI to actually analyze job descriptions, like thousands of them.
Wow.
And then it helps you tailor your application to highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant to those specific jobs.
So instead of sending out a generic resume to every leather goods company, you're using AI to create a really targeted application.
Exactly. And the RoleCatcher info actually highlights a few key benefits of this approach.
Like what?
Well, first of all, it's way more efficient. You're not wasting time on applications that are unlikely to go anywhere.
That makes sense.
But more importantly, it leads to a much higher quality of application. Because your resume and cover letter are specifically tailored to the job requirements, you're way more likely to grab the hiring manager's attention.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. And you know, sometimes when you apply for jobs online, it feels like your resume just disappears into a black hole.
Right.
But this kind of technology could actually help address that problem.
I see what you mean. It's like having an AI assistant who knows exactly what hiring managers are looking for.
Exactly. And there's actually an even cooler aspect of this that I wanted to mention.
Okay, what's that?
So RoleCatcher mentions that some employers are actually using AI to proactively search for candidates with specific skill sets.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So instead of just waiting for people to apply, they're using AI to find the best candidates, even if those candidates haven't necessarily applied for the job yet.
That's amazing.
It really is a game changer.
It's like AI is playing matchmaker between job seekers and companies.
I know, right?
And, this whole discussion about AI and job hunting really highlights an important point about this career path.
What's that?
It's not enough to just be skilled in the traditional leatherworking techniques.
Right.
Leather production managers need to be adaptable, they need to be open to new technologies, and they need to be able to learn and use these tools effectively.
You're absolutely right.
And that's something that's going to be valuable in any industry, really.
Totally. The world is changing so fast, and technology is a big part of that. So being able to adapt and embrace new tools is going to be essential for success.
Absolutely. It's like those soft skills we were talking about earlier.
Right, like communication, problem solving, and all that.
Those are important too, but being tech savvy is becoming just as important these days.
I completely agree. And you know what else is interesting about this whole AI-powered job hunting thing?
What's that?
It could actually lead to a more diverse workforce in leather production.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah, because if you think about it, traditional hiring practices can sometimes be, a little biased, even if it's unintentional.
Right.
But by using AI to analyze skills and experience objectively, it could help companies uncover hidden talent pools that they might have overlooked before.
I see what you mean. It kind of levels the playing field in a way.
Exactly. And because AI can analyze massive amounts of data, it can identify patterns and make connections that humans might miss.
So someone from a non-traditional background or with a less conventional career path might have a better chance of getting their foot in the door.
That's the idea.
That's really interesting. So while we often hear about how technology is going to replace jobs,
Right.
in this case, it could actually open up new opportunities and make the job market more inclusive.
It's all about how we choose to use the technology.
Exactly. And this whole discussion about AI personalizing the job search got me thinking about something else that was mentioned in the RoleCatcher materials.
What's that?
The idea of AI actually personalizing leather goods themselves.
Oh, yeah, that's where things get really futuristic.
AI personalizing leather goods. So we're talking like AI stylists designing our leather jackets.
Well, think about it. You could input your measurements, your style preferences, even some inspiration images into an app.
Okay.
And then AI could use that data to create a completely unique leather jacket that's made just for you.
Wow, that would be so cool. No more trying on a million jackets that don't quite fit right.
Exactly.
What else could we personalize with AI?
Oh, all sorts of things. Imagine car interiors with leather seats that are ergonomically designed for your body.
Oh, that's a good
You
one.
could have personalized stitching, heated and cooled zones. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
That sounds amazing, but also maybe crazy expensive.
Yeah, at least at first. I mean, any kind of bespoke product is going to come with a higher price tag.
Right.
But as the technology develops and production costs go down, it could become much more affordable.
So you're saying that someday, instead of buying mass-produced leather goods, we could be ordering custom-made items that are designed by AI.
Exactly.
That's wild.
And you know what's interesting about this whole idea of on-demand manufacturing?
Mm.
It could actually have a really positive impact on sustainability.
Oh, how so?
Well, if we're only producing what people actually want and need,
Okay.
it could drastically reduce waste and overproduction in the leather industry.
That's a really good point. It's like instead of making a ton of stuff that might end up in a landfill, we're only making what's going to be used and loved.
Exactly. So it's better for consumers and better for the planet.
I love it. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have.
We talked about what a leather production manager actually does, all the different skills they need, and how AI is changing the industry, both in how leather bids are made and how people get hired.
It's been a fascinating look at a field that most people probably don't think that much about.
I know, right? Who knew leather production could be so high-tech and full of opportunities? So, to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
if you're someone who appreciates both traditional craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology,
Right.
and you're looking for a career path that's both creative and challenging, leather production might be worth checking out.
Absolutely.
And even if you're not planning on a career change anytime soon, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
Definitely.
It's always a good idea to stay curious, keep learning, and explore those unexpected paths.
Couldn't agree more.
You never know where they might lead. All right, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.